I have to apologize about that, guys. For some reason, I lost my signal, so I have to. Kind of finishing up. I'm starting where I left off, and we were at G-Puck. He just rolled a 2-6, and he is Chuck. And he two. Well, I found out what my problem was. Is I lost signal to my camera, and 2-6. You can see that is a car result, and we will check. We will look at the car. We will roll on the car chart. G-Puck has no damage so far, so that's a 5, and he will get an X. So G-Puck gets his first thing of damage. So we will pick up our drivers and we will roll again. And I have to apologize. I didn't know that it was as simple as plugging in my camera, and I could have continued. So I just continued on a different, basically video broadcast. So we will know that next time. We will pick up our cards. We will shuffle them out. All right. So far, after 2 turns, we have 2 drivers out. We have a few drivers that have traits that are gone, and we have 2 drivers that are stalled, and if they don't install their car, they will be out in turn 3. All right. So flip them over. Big Don, Delons, Tradfan, Rob. We got Papa Rob. We got Chris. We got G-Puck. We got Sean. We got Glenn B. And we want to put these 2 and so now we have 2 rows of 4 and a row of 3. So there are 11 cars still in this event. I'm going to just take you through it. Big Don has 2. Delons has 3 damage. Tripfan has 1. I have 2. Rob has 1. Papa Rob has 1. Chris Strat has 1. G-Puck has 1. Sean has nothing. Glenn B has 2. And ID Jester has 1. So the only person that's been unscathed so far from the Carnage is Sean. Let's see what Big Don's trait is. And I have to figure out what a question mark is. Oh, okay. Well, Big Don is going to do his trait, which is 2 internal and 1 damage to himself. And that will be internal damage to himself. So he will also lose a trait. So in this instance, that person will be Delon's, because the first we got a bullet on this. That means that goes to Delon's, and he will lose 2. Oh, Big Don. Oh, wait a minute. Looking at the wrong. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong person. Big Don will add, and it's his trait is that he adds an unusual result to his card, and he got a 1/2, and he is Rudy. And Rudy on a 1/2 is an X, an exclamation, and that's to the person with the least amount of damage. And that is Tribe Fan in this instance. So he will have external damage and 1 internal damage, and that means Tribe Fan will lose his 4 column, and Tribe Fan is Raul, which is right next to him, and he will lose his 4 column. And we go to Delon's. So we go to my different camera. We go to Delon's. And that is a 3/3, and he is J. And a 3/3 is 2 X's to the least card with the least amount of damage. And it will not be Big Don. It will be Tribe Fan. Yes, it will be Tribe Fan. And that is 2 X's. So Tribe Fan now has 4 damage. And he is halfway there to getting X out of the race. So he's halfway. X out of the race is Tribe Fan, and Tribe Fan is our next driver. That's a 4/3, and Tribe Fan is Raul. And if we look at his card, 4/3, and you will notice that there's a red token, which means nothing happens there. And that will take us to my car. 6, 6. All right, and I am Dino, and that is a car result, and that is a 6, and I have 2 damage, and a 6 result is an unusual result, and we will roll both dice for the unusual result chart. And that is a 6-2. And on the unusual result, sideswipe maneuver damages all cars in the column 2X. Wow. So Big Don gets 2 X's. Elon gets 2 X's. And Tribe Fan is 1 away from Tribe Fan is 1 away from getting ousted in this is 1 point of damage away of getting ousted from this race. We go to column 2, and there's only 3 columns in this particular. There's only 3 cars in this column, and Rob is first. So 3-5, and Rob is Travis. Three, 5, and that will be a skid. So we will roll on the skid chart. And that is a 2. 2 on the skid chart of C. That means nothing happens. And that will take us to Papa Rob. Oh, and he has to roll to see if he is still in the race. He rolled even, which means he is still in the race. He gets his car started. He's still in the race. And we look at the 5-5 column, and that is a skid. And that is 1, and that will be an X to his own car. So Papa Rob gets another thing of damage, which brings us to Chris Strat, and he is also has to do the same thing. And he gets his car started as well. So he is unstalled. A 2-6 is a car result. So we roll for his car result, which is a 1. And Chris has 1 damage, which means he will get another 1 of damage. And that will take us to GPUC. All right, GPUC. And that will be a 5-3 for G-Puck. He is Chuck. And that will be an X to the least car with the least amount of damage, which happens to be Sean. And it is Sean's turn. Three, 1. And Sean is Stone. And that is an X and a question mark. A question mark. Oh, he will lose some sort of trait, and Sean Stone. Okay. Sean is Stone. That's 3-1. Okay, so he will give a X to G-Puck, and he will lose in the process. He loses his number 4 trait, and that goes to Stone, so he will lose his 4 column. So Sean loses his 4 column, and that will take us to Glenn B. All right, Glenn B. That is 1-5. Glenn B is Dawn. And that is a skid. That is a 3. And that will be damage to his own car. So that was Glenn. And that takes us to ID Jester. And ID Jester has a 6-2. And he is Jimmy. And that is an X. And then 2 traits. And that's to the person with the most damage. And that will be Glenn in this instance. Okay. So Glenn gets an X. And he will lose 2 traits. So roll 2. And that is a 6 and a 1. So Don will lose 2 traits, his 1 trait and his 6 trait. And that's what Don's card will look like now. And we are at the end of turn 3. We're at the end of turn 3. I'm going to shuffle these cards up and we will go again. We'll still have 2 columns of 4 and 1 column of 3 because we still have 11 cars in the race. So Right. So we got Big Don, Heidi Jester, Rob, G-Puck, Chris, Philip, Glenn B. We got Tribe Fan. We got Sean. We get Papa Rob. And we got Delons. And beginning this round, looking at row one, Big Don has 3 X's. ID Jester has 1. Rob has 1. G-Puck has 2. Chris Strat has 2. I have 2. Glenn B has 4. Tribe Fan, 1 more external damage, 1 damage of any kind, and he will be gone. Sean has 1. Papa Rob has 2. And Delons has 5. So we will take a look at Big Don's. Oh, Big Don has already used his unusual result trait. So we can't. So he has to just roll. He can only roll. So he will roll. And that is a 6-2. And Rudy's card. Okay. Rudy's card is a 6-2, and that is no damage. So we will flip over Big Don. No damage for the rest of this turn, and that takes us to ID Jester. And that is a 2-3. And ID Jester is Jimmy. And he gets no damage. So no damage to Jimmy as well. For ID Jester, he will get no damage, which will take us to Rob. 1-3. And on Rob's car, which is Travis, 1-3 is 3 bits of damage to the car with the most. And then there was only 1 car available anyway, which was G-Puck, so and that will give G-Puck 5 bits of damage. And we go to G-Puck. And on Chuck's card, a 2-1 is 3 bits of damage to the car with the, right? 2-1, sorry, is 3 bits of damage to the car with the most, and the other 2 are untouchable, so that means Rob gets 3 bits of damage. That will get him to 4 damage. And we go to column 2. And we go to Chris Strat, Delaware. 4-6. And that is a car. And we will look at the car roll here, which will be a 5. And he has 2 damage. And a 5 means that he is stalled. Once again, Chris's car has stalled. And we go to my turn next. A 2-5 to Dino's card. Oh, and if you look over here, my 2 column has a red chip on it, so I cannot use the 2 column, which means it's Glenn B's turn. 1-1, and he is Dawn. And Dawn happens to have Dawn has lost his 1 and his 6 traits, so that takes us to column 4. And that will take us to the car with the most damage right now. And that is 4-2, and that's Raul. And that means that nothing happens there because the 4 is gone. And that will take us to Sean's car. 5-2 on Stone. And that is an X, an O, an exclamation, and a question mark to the least damaged car. And that, being as it's... Let's see something. Yeah, that's to the least damaged car. Okay. Well, in this case, it's really odd about this. This will have to go to Papa Rob, and that means he will get an X. Papa Rob will get an X. It means that Sean will get a 0. External damage to himself. An exclamation point will mean that Papa Rob will lose a trait. And that will be 1. And Papa Rob's snake will lose trait 1. And I believe the question mark means that he will lose a trait. Yep. Means Sean will lose a trait, and he is Stone. And that is a 1. So he has 2 traits. And that will take us That will take us to Papa Rob's turn. 5-6 on Stone's card. We will check the card result. And with 3 damage, oh, wait a minute. This is Papa Rob's turn, and he is Snake. Okay. 6-6 is a car damage, and we got a 6 on the car damage. And he has 3 damage himself. And on the 6, that will be an unusual result. So we'll check the unusual result for Papa Rob, which will be a 4. Which will be a 12. 1, 2. It says engine begins to smoke. Engine light goes on. So Papa Rob is out of the race. And just like that, we're down to 10. And that takes us to D-Longs. And that's a 3-3. And he is J. And that will be 2 external damage to the car with the least amount of damage. And that will be Sean. And that will take Sean to 4 damage. And that's the end of turn 3, and we go to turn 4. All right, we are on turn 4. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see here. We got Glenn B, me, we have Big Dawn, we have Chester. D-Longs, Chris Strat, Sean, Tribe Fan, G-Puck, and Rob. And we had 2. I think D-Longs was one of them. And I think it was Glenn B. So Glenn B is the first. We will check what Glenn B's okay. He is going to do his trait, which is 2 internal damage and 1 internal damage to himself. So let's check to see who that is. Is it me? Yes, it is me. So 2 internal damage for me, and I am Dino. And so roll these two. We get a 2, was a 2. A 2 and a 3, so that means I get another chip to 2. And my third ability is also out. Okay. And that will take it to my roll. That's a 4-3. And that will be no damage. All right. And that's a 3, 6. And we're looking at Rudy's car. A 3, 6 will be a car. And we will roll. That's 6. And Big Don has 3. And that will be an unusual result, which means we roll on the unusual results. And that is a 3, 6. Blindsided after making wrong turn. 3 zeros, 3 internal damage to Dawn. And he loses 1 ability. So Big Don, who is Rudy. And he will lose the 3 ability. All right, that takes us to the second column, ID Jester. By 4, and Jimmy, that will be an X, an O, and a question mark, and that goes to the, normally we would go to the car with the least amount of damage, but because this car is unvulnerable, it can't get damage, that goes to Chris. So that will be 1X to Chris. That will be 1-0 to ID Jester. And Jester loses another ability. And that will be his 6th ability. Right. And that will, we'll flip this over, take us to Delon's. 5, 1, and that's J. And that's 2 X's. And that will be to ID Jester. And we go to Chris Strat. 6 and a 4, and we're looking off of Goober's card. And that will be, it says to the least, but that 0 means that it goes to himself. So that goes to himself. So that gives him 4 damage. And we go to Sean. 5, 5 on Stone. And that will be a skid. A 1 on a skid. And he has, that will be an external damage to himself. And that will get him to 5. Tribe fan 4-5. And we're looking at Raul's card, and nothing happens there because the 4 column is gone. G Puck 3-3. He is Chuck, and that will be no damage. And that will take us to Rob. Three, 2. And we're looking at Travis. That will be external damage to the car with the most. And in this case, that will be Tribe fan, Raul. And Raul is gone. Oh, that's right. That's me. Okay. Okay, I think this is our 4th turn. And I mix the cards up. And we just lost Tribe fan. Tribe fan is gone. And Montoya's gone. And on. Oh, and Papa Rob's gone. Four. So we have 4 gone. We have 4 cars gone and 4 laps, basically. And four cars gone and 4 laps, and we have 9, which is where I wanted to start anyway. All right. Okay, so we will take it. Okay, over here, we're going to look at Chris Stratt's ability. Chris Stratt's ability has already been taken, so he has to roll. 5-2, and that, because he stalled, means that Chris Stratt is out of the race because it had to get even to be unstalled. He was stalled, so Chris Stratt is now out of the race. He becomes our 5th victim. And that will, it's my turn. 2x, and I will give 2x D-Lons. He's the only other one in D-Lons. Will become our first player with seven external damage. So D-Lons will be gone. All right. And that will take us to Big Don. It was Rudy. And that's a 6-1, 2 external to the most, car with the most damage. And in this case, since there's only one to choose from, Glenn B gets 2. 3, and he will have one more, and he will be out. And we flip over. It's now G-Puck's turn. 4, 5. And that will go to Big Don, which means that he is out. And he is Rudy. So Big Don is out. And we'll take Glenn B's turn. Glenn B's turn, 2-2. And he is Dawn, and 2-2 would be an X and 2 internal damage. So G-Puck will get an X, 2, 3, and that's 6. He'll need one more and 2 internal damage. And he is Chuck. And we'll roll for both of those. Six and a 4. So he will lose his 6 and 4 abilities. And that goes, now we go to Rob. 5, 6, and he is Travis. And that will be car chart. And that is a 2, and he has 4 damage, 2, and that means that Rob's car is stalled. And means Travis is stalled, and he'll have to get his car started, which takes us to Sean. 4-2, and he is Stone. And there is no 4 ability for Sean. Takes us to ID Jester. 6-1, and he is Jimmy. And there's no 6 ability for ID Jester. And after 4, rounds, we have 6 cars left. After four rounds, we have 6 cars left. So Okay, so we have two, basically we're having two columns of 3 here. All right. Okay. So we have Rob, we have Philip, we have G-Puck, we have Sean, we have ID Jester, and we have Glenn B. And Rob will take a strategy card. And it says, Rampage, continue taking turns until a 0 result occurs or until car kills or car stalls or kills. Okay. 4, 5 on trail. Oh, wait a minute. We'll have to redo that because I actually forgot that Rob was stalled to begin with. And that is a 3. As you know, that we need a even number to be unstalled. So that means that Rob is out of the race. Right. And that takes it to me. 2, 6. And that is, nothing happens there because 2 is already gone. 3, 2 for Chuck. And that is no damage for Chuck. That's great. Sean's turn. 5, 2 for Sean, and he is stone. And that is X. So he will get, and it won't go to ID Jester, it will go to Glenn B. Glenn, that takes Glenn out of the race. And he is Dawn. All right. Dawn is out of the race. And 5, 2. And he will get 1. He also gave himself 1 internal damage. So that's 6, and he will lose an ability, which is 2. So he's got three qualities lost, Sean does. Sean has 3 qualities that are gone for his particular man, Stone. So that is it. We are at our final 4. Okay. And we are going to round number 5. And Sean and Philip both. Yeah, Sean and Philip both had got basically to where they no damage. So Sean will be our first driver. Okay. And we will now move to it says that once you get to this point in the race that you don't have to shuffle the cards, but I don't think that's right because this way Sean goes first all the time until you get to the end. If you mix it up, then somebody else will possibly go first. So Sean, and that is a 2-2, and we're looking at stone, and 2 is nothing. So G-Puck goes next, and that will be a 3-4 for G-Puck. And G-Puck is Chuck. 3-4, and that will be damage to himself. Okay. So 3-4. Let's check this. Chuck, 3-4. Yeah, it's external damage to himself. So G-Puck just knocked himself out of the race. Sorry about that, G-Puck, but you just knocked yourself out of the race. And that will take it to me, because I'm the card that's uncovered. And that will be a 5-1 on the card. And that will be external damage, and that will be to Sean. And that is going to be it for Sean. And I also would have taken one of Sean's internal ability traits away, but since he's out, he's out. And that will take it to Heidi Jester and me. Oh, reroll. Okay, 1-1, and we're looking at Jimmy. One ability is nothing. Okay, we're gonna switch them up here, and ID Jester rolls. 2-1 will be 2 X's to me. And that will give me, oh, wait a minute, 2 X's to me, sorry. Did that wrong. And he will lose, ID Jester will lose a trait. And that will be 6, so that means he's got 2 on his 6 trait. And my turn here. 5-4. And that will be 1 internal damage to me, 1 external damage to ID Jester, and we'll each lose a trait. That's what that means. So 2. I will lose my 3rd. Now this is interesting. What happens I had to take a look at what comes first here. Well, it doesn't matter. The way I'm gonna do this is because in that particular okay. It was 2-4. It was an X to his car, which got him to 5, 0 to my car, and then an exclamation, which means that ID Jester will lose. Oh, yeah, ID Jester will lose an ability. And because he loses a trait here, the rules state that anytime you have 3, oh, and I'm sorry, that's not me, that's on Jester, okay. All right, I misread that. I was thinking that that went to exclamation went to me, but it went to ID Jester, and as a result, he has lost his number 2 ability, and means that I go first this time. 6-1, and that is damage to myself, and I will lose an ability here. And if I lose the number 2 ability, and I don't, okay, and it will be Jester's turn. Right. It'll be Jester's turn here. 1-4. That will not count. All right. Jester's turn again. 5-3 will be an X to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just that quick, ID Jester is our winner for today's Demolition Derby. It took about, I'd say, 6 to 8 rounds, but Jester, as Jimmy, wins. So your champion is ID Jester, and it's really close because I had to check because there's a rule with the game that states that if you get 3 of any one ability, so if you get 3 2s or 3 1s, then you're eliminated. And I almost got eliminated by that, but ID Jester did it on sheer rolling of the dice, and yeah. So ID Jester here's your champ of the day, the Schmubs fan, the Cubs fan wins today. He's our champion. I have to apologize that this is in two broadcasts. And take care. I hope you enjoy it, guys. Bye.